Welcome to Two Humans Talking, the podcast where we discuss the challenges of staying healthy in today's modern, fast-paced world. I'm Tiffany Simms, your burnout recovery expert and holistic wellness coach, and today I am so stinking excited to be sitting here with my friend Renee. Renee Back is someone that I met in business. She's a photographer. She helps manage properties. Like, this woman is literally doing it all and doing it with so much grace and a smile on her face. And I cannot wait for you to get to experience her and hear a little bit about her journey and her health journey. And so Renee, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm really happy that I'm here too. It's an honor to be on this podcast with you, and you make me sound like I'm amazing. So that's
Because you are, like, holy
okay.
crap. And before I even ask you to share with the people who you are, I want to start with, because I'm going to say this. In the world of healthy, a lot of times we talk about calories and your pant size and how many miles you're running and how much you can squat. But part of being healthy is doing things that make you uncomfortable, that stretch you to the person, your best self. And right now, Renee is doing that live time, like being on a podcast, talking without a script and without, like, with just generic, I'm going to ask you questions, is terrifying. And I share that not to put you on the spot, but to let people know that it's okay to do hard things and things that make you uncomfortable on the way to the next version of yourself. And I think it's really cool.
Well, thank you. Yes, this is something that I have wanted to do for a while, to push myself. And I used to be a perfectionist, and it was like, I only can do things if I know it's all going to work out and I know I'm going to say the right thing and nobody's going to think I'm an idiot. And now I'm just like, okay, well, if people think I'm an idiot, it's okay, because I'm just gonna put myself out there. And so I really appreciate you letting me on your podcast, because it's one of the first steps to me just overcoming that and breaking through all of
And I
that.
think that's a lesson in so many aspects of our life, and especially health. Maybe we'll talk about it. But before we get too much further, Renee, share with the listeners, like, who you are, where you live, what you do, like some things that make you you.
There is a lot, so I'll just share a little bit. I am Renee Back. I live in South Central Kentucky. I'm married, and we have 2 cats and lots of chickens, and just live on our tiny little homestead. And I'm a branding photographer. We also take portraits, and we detail cars mobile. We
I
yeah,
didn't
I
know
didn't
that.
know that. We we do I run a government housing project, and my husband maintains it, and I also do the Christian ministry volunteer full time. So it's I have a lot on my plate, but yeah, that I it all makes me happy. The most of it. Some things don't make me happy, but
They're part of the
life,
picture.
right, life. And yeah, I'm super busy, but I'm not someone who wants to use that as an excuse for anything. Oh, I'm too busy for this, or I'm too busy for that. So there you go.
One of the things that I admire a lot about you is that, we talk a lot about toxic positivity, and you are a genuinely positive person. And the thing that I love about you is that you're positive despite the struggle, and you accept that things are hard, and you allow yourself to, like, have the, like, this freaking sucks moment, and then you allow yourself to feel that, process that, but then it's like right back to the thing that you do have control over, and like, how can we make this a positive or shift away from it rather than getting consumed by it. And I think you do that so, almost, I don't know how hard it is for you to do if it's something you consciously do, but it's so effortlessly on the outside. Like, there's never been a time where something has gone off the rails that I've would have ever wanted to be like, oh my God, I do not want to listen to this woman, she's so negative. Because I know, like, even when it's hard, you're gonna get to the point where it's like, okay, what are we, where are we going, got that out of my system, what's the next step? And I love that about you. So solution oriented.
Well, I appreciate it. It's not all me. I mean, we all have our support group, and mine, I know everybody has their own idea of spirituality, but my relationship with God is what helps keep me positive, because I know there's, like, this isn't it, like, things will get better. And not just that, but there's been quite a journey towards, I used to focus on negative things and things I couldn't take care of, things that were out of my control, and I just realized that you get to choose happiness. So it's, why focus on all the bad? I used to be very judgmental. I know you probably didn't know that about me, but like very, and then it's just like there's no reason for that. And so I've worked on that quite a bit over the years. Kevin's helped me with that, other things have helped me with that, but I just try to focus on the positive, because if you can be happy and you can make other people happy, why not? Like, you get to choose that, and you get to decide just to be happy. So yeah, that's a choice
Yeah.
that.
And doing that doesn't mean that you're ignoring the things that are hard or sucky. It means that you're choosing joy with to find the things to be joyful about, even though the things are hard. And I know that I think everyone needs people like that in their life because things do get hard. And you actually are someone that I find trust in when I'm having a really hard time and I need to like process it. I'm an out loud processor. And you're a safe space for that, where it's like, I don't feel like I'm burdening you if I were to share that. I don't feel like I'm going to get judged for it not being picture perfect. And you do such a great job, like creating that space to like let me word vomit it all out. And then like us dancing its way back to like the solution. And I think, and I love that it's a skill that people can learn.
Yeah,
Like you said, you're like, I had to
I
learn.
appreciate yeah, I appreciate that, because I feel the same way about you. Like, we've had calls where we're both crying and we're like, I don't even know what the problem is. And I mean, and we're women too, right? So women are just like, I don't even know what's wrong with you. I don't know. But it's nice to have ones that you can go to, and just be able to share whatever's going on. And sometimes when you have somebody to talk to, that person doesn't even come up with a solution, but by you talking, like, sometimes you come up with your own solutions, and we just need that. And so, yeah.
Having someone to let you work through the suck without holding you in the suck and without gossiping about it with you and without like making all these excuses for you of like, yeah, and but just being like, that's really hard. And just being there, I think is just such a gift. It helps and has actually helped me become a healthier person because I am no longer I wouldn't say that I knew I was toxically positive, but when I look back, there was a lot of times that I didn't allow myself to feel the frustrations and I immediately made myself choose the positive or that I was going to turn my mess into my message and like was always 10 steps ahead because I thought that I didn't want to be the Debbie Downer. I didn't want to be stuck in that suck. And so like I was like as fast as we can get out. And now I know that it's okay to process it. And when you have safe people who are there where you can do it judgment free and also solution orientedly, oh, what a gift to your nervous system.
Mhm. Yeah, and I know sometimes we need alone time too. Like, that's sometimes what we need to process that, because that's how, like I told you yesterday, I was so glad that yesterday was not when we were recording this, because yesterday was one of those days where I just reached my limit, and we were going to go to the gym, but I hadn't eaten anything. And so we were like, okay, we have to eat. Like, going to the gym when we're this hangry is probably not good, low blood sugar, all of that. So we went to eat something. And then after that, we just went and took a nice little stroll around Mammoth Cave National Park. And it was like getting outside, even though it was only like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. But it was like, okay, there's food in my stomach and I'm out in nature and we're watching the squirrels like run. And I mean, they were hysterical. You've watched squirrels before. And it was just so good that when we got home, I could finish the job that had seemed so overwhelming in my mind and just get it done. And like, sigh of relief. Sometimes you just need alone time or get outside. That's also huge to be healthy.
I also love the gift that you just shared. And it's so the opposite of the culture that a lot of people have been like programmed to believe about being healthy. And it's like you have a gym routine and you stick to it, and no matter what, you show up because you made the commitment to yourself. And I think awareness of your own body is really important. And you were saying that like you and your hubby were like, going to the gym right now with no gas in the tank, not gonna, could lead to injury, not gonna be a good workout. Yes, we'll get it done, but is it really feeding my body the way it needs to? Let's go get some food and choose a different form of movement today so that we're prioritizing ourselves and giving our bodies actually what it needs to like get through this day. And that's something I know I had to learn how to do, was let go of sometimes the expectations, and
Mhm.
then also know when I was making excuses and needed to go to the gym because that's what my body actually needed me to do.
Yeah, I about, oh, it's been 2.5 years. I think we've been doing CrossFit. And when we first started, it was okay, we go every day. We went 5 days a week, which I know that's not technically every day, but I viewed that as
It
every
is
day.
every work
So
day.
yeah, so we go 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. We went to the 5 a.m. class. We live 35 minutes from there. So we'd get up super early, drive there, do the workout. And I would push myself to try to figure out the right, like, to do the movements right and to do more weight and to do, and I didn't listen to my body and wound up with an overuse injury, which is at no fault of the gym I was going to or the coach. They're both amazing. But I, even when they'd say, okay, slow down, if that's too hard for you, don't do that. In my mind, it was like, oh, I can do this. And then I didn't have full use of my shoulder for like almost 18 months until I babied it and did all the things I had to do and all of that. And
That's
so I've
funny.
learned through the process that you have to listen to your body and don't push yourself too much, too fast, too hard, all of that, because not being able to have full function of every single part of your body is not healthy. And so I learned that it was a hard lesson to learn. Like, okay, I'm over 40. I can't do all the crazy stuff I used to do when I was 20. And it's okay to not do all those same, to do them, but at the level I can do them now and just be the best I can be, and don't push past that, because that's when you hurt yourself.
Yes. And it's a learning curve, because learning where the I'm taking it too easy and I'm not progressing, I'm not growing, I'm not actually strengthening myself, and the pushing to, okay, I'm uncomfortable. This is exactly where I should be, is uncomfortable, a little bit more effort than what would be easy, versus like extreme because you're trying to keep up, or your ego saying you're not working hard enough, or you know what, I've been doing this for so long, I should be able to knock these out and I've been slacking, so then you just push hard. And that's just a learning process, and getting learning how to be really honest with yourself.
Mhm.
No one can tell you the answer on that.
And not, yeah, not being really tough on yourself. Like, there's a difference between sore and pain. Like, if something hurts, you should not still be doing it. But if you're sore, it's like, okay, you worked that muscle, it's going to be sore for a couple days. We're used to that. But it was a hard lesson. It was humiliating, but it was something that my ego needed. My ego needed to be like, you are not at the level that you are putting yourself at, and it's okay to scale it back. It's okay to do less if less is going to be better for your body, and not taking it easy on yourself, but just allowing yourself to do what you know is your best now.
How do you determine whether or not you're scapegoating and making excuses for yourself and taking it too easy, versus pushing hard enough that your body is getting like the full benefits of the uncomfortable?
Um, for
You know what I'm asking? You know where
Yeah,
I'm going with that?
for us, it does help that we have a program that we can enter all our stuff in, so we can kind of compare ourselves with ourselves and know, okay, I know I can do more, but also, um, what I try to do with that is, push just a little harder. And then if my body says nope, then to know, okay, my body just said no and I have to listen to it. So that's where how I can, when I take a break, it's because my body said you have to take a break.
Now, for you, is that like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm pushing too hard, let me take a break? Or is it like you can start to feel something like on the verge of, if I did one more of these things, I'm going to feel that in my knee in the wrong spot?
It really depends on what movement I'm doing. So like today, today was not fun, but for some reason, like there's this thing in CrossFit where you just complain the whole time and you're like, that was terrible. And then you're like,
Do
okay,
that
see you
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah. And, and it's like addicting and it's weird. Like, I don't even, but you also get all the endorphins, right? You get the benefits of it. Um, and there's a group of people who are also encouraging and you're encouraging each other and all of that. But today was burpee box is supposed to be jump overs. My jumping is not my forte, so I step over the box. And then it was air bike, which just the calories do not accumulate fast enough and it's just torture, but in a good way. But it was, so today was, okay, I'm having a hard time breathing, so I'm not gonna do these burpees as fast as other people because breathing is more important than writing a higher number on the scorecard. um and I wasn't in any danger of passing out or that. It wasn't, yeah, it just, that was me listening to my body saying, hey, maybe I didn't sleep enough last night, or maybe I didn't drink enough water yesterday, or maybe I didn't have enough of the right calories. And so I can only push myself this hard. But then there's other times when it's like, I'm saying in my head, like running is also not one of my favorite things. I know people run for the fun of it, and that does not make sense at all to me. But kudos to the people that that's their thing, like
I run
that's what
for the
clears their
ears.
head.
My marathon ears. I'm like, I run for the ears.
Yeah, I'm like, uh, it wows me, all the people that are like, yeah, I run because it helps clear my head. And I'm like, the whole time I'm just thinking, you got to remember to breathe. You got to remember to breathe. So that's not my fun thing. I could row all day long. And that's,
See, I am the opposite. Rowing is not fun for me, but it's not
yeah.
fun for me because it's hard and I've never done it long enough to get good at it.
Yeah.
I've
So,
never gotten out of the suck stage.
oh, well, it's just, it was one of the, it was funny. The first day I showed up at CrossFit, that's what the workout was. And it was row 5,000 meters that day. And so I tried to do that. And the coach at 3,000 is like, okay, you're done now. Like today's your first day and 3,000 meters is like, just stop.
I went down my thing. I didn't even know it.
So, but when I'm running and I'm trying, again, listening to your body, I think is key, because sometimes we get in our head and we just think, okay, I know I hate this, so let me just say, oh, I'm just going to walk the last little bit and it's okay. But if I say, you know what, my breathing is okay right now, I'm controlling my breath, I can actually make it that this round, I can do the whole 400 meters, run the whole time, it's good. And then not let my head tell me.
Yes.
That to me is the biggest part of the workout to me, is don't let my head tell me, let my body tell me. If my body says you got to stop, then I got to stop. But if my head's
I
like, you
love
can't do it, you
that.
can't do it, I got to shut that up.
I love that. I think that's great. I actually have been having this conversation with myself in my internal monologue a lot lately because I've gotten back into running. And one of my things has been, I want to have fun. I don't want anything to hurt. Like, I don't want to injure myself. And over time, I would like to increase my speed and my distance. And so with that, sometimes you have to put your ego on the shelf of what you think you should be able to do, or yeah, what you think you should be able to do, and just be in your present body. And for someone who, I went through a stage where I had lost 65 pounds, and there was a point in time where I was so afraid that if I would miss a workout, didn't push as hard as I could, that I was going to get fat again. And so that was always in the back of my mind of like, are you going to get fat again? Are you just making excuses? Is this the first day that's going to turn into the next 5 years? And so there, it was always push, 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 because I couldn't tell the difference. I didn't trust myself enough to know the difference between, no, your body's really telling you today needs to be a rest day versus my body being lazy and me just not wanting to do it. And so like I had to work really hard on that. And right now getting back into running, it's so exciting because like now, if be like the moment I start to feel a twinge or a pull in my knee, I walk. It doesn't matter if I thought I was going to go to that next mailbox. As soon as I feel it, it's like, nope, my body's telling me that we need to let that muscle recover. We're going to walk for a little bit and then we're going to get back at it. And with running, like I no longer worry about my pace or my cadence or pushing myself to be a certain thing or a time. Like I let my body carry me at the pace and distance it can do in that moment. And that's different every day. And then it's like I said, it's based off of that, like what's pulling, what's not. And today there was a few times where like I picked a mailbox and I was getting there and I was just like, oh, we should walk. Cause the last few times I needed to walk before that mailbox. And it was like that mental check of like, no, nothing hurts. Like you're just programmed to say you need to stop now. And I actually would get further. And then it was like, okay, well, now we need to recover a little bit, walk a little bit, and go again. And I share all of that to just let people know that, like, it's a journey. There's no right or wrong. It's not always going to be the same. And like you were saying, Renee, it's that, is this what I program myself to believe? And I think I have to stop now? Or is it that my body's saying, like, time out, I need to recover, even if it's for 30 seconds before we get back at it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I mean, we're both on the same page. It's listening to our body. If you listen to your body instead of letting your body listen to your brain, um, then you will be able to do a whole lot more. And that applies to like everything in life. There's a whole lot of limiting beliefs that we have about all kinds of things, whether it's business, whether it's about, um, our workouts, whether it's about friendships, any of that. There's so many things that we get in our heads. And if we can just, yeah, get out of that, we can
Present.
do, mhm, yeah.
And that goes back to my whole thing, which is I'm big into, I don't even know if this is a real term or if I made it up, intuitive living, meaning that like I have gotten really good at listening to my body's needs, desires in like signals, and making choices based off of how I want to feel. Not in this always in this moment, but like how do I want to feel later today? How do I want to feel in 3 days from now? And just really getting accustomed with learning rather than always overriding it.
Mhm.
It's amazing what you can do.
And I think you were saying thinking down the road, a lot of like the way my husband and I try to live is to remember that health is an investment. So you can do things today that might be kind of hard and you have to get out of your head to do it, like a difficult workout or making the right food choice, but you are going to have to pay one way or the other. So we've decided if we can just invest a little bit of time in our health, now we won't have to invest as much, hopefully later, money wise, into the healthcare system because we want to just keep our bodies up. And you get, if you feel good, it goes a long way to helping you be happy too. And doesn't everybody just want to be
And when
happy?
you feel good, you perform better at work, especially when you're juggling like all the things like you're doing. There's no way that you would be able to, you would survive because we're all resilient enough to survive, but you wouldn't feel good doing it. You wouldn't be a joyful person if you weren't didn't feel good in your own body.
Yeah. My personal struggle, and thankfully I have a husband that can remind me all the time, is to drink enough water. Because every time I say I have a headache, he's like, how much water did you drink? Or I had, I have this problem or that problem. How much water did you drink? And we
It's
have
like
to,
he knows you.
you would think, yeah, it's weird how much he knows me, but
How long have you guys been married?
little over 14 years.
Yeah,
So,
he might
yeah.
know a few
And
things.
I mean, he's all along, that's just been his thing. And so days that I have a headache that I've drank enough water, I'm like, "Ha, that's not it." So,
Prove you. You think
yeah.
you know me. Try again.
But it's I mean, I don't get headaches all the time. I used to all the time, but, it's just there's a lot that goes into health, and I think a huge thing that people like, a lie people have always been told is either you're all in or you're not in at all. And it's like they forget that there's this beautiful blend that you can do. Like you can have a cheat day, you can have a cheat meal, you can like have a cheat week if you want and go back to the way, the whole 80/20 rule. Like if you eat and live and exercise and all of that a certain way 80% of the time, and you do this 20% of the time, it's not going to kill you. You're gonna still
Yeah,
be healthy
yes,
and you won't be down on yourself. And you won't say, "Hey, I ate 4 M&Ms, so now I have to eat the whole bag because why not? I broke the diet anyway, so I might as well eat the whole bag." And that is the way I used to think. I'm like, "Oh, well, I already ate this, so I'll just start again on Monday." And now we just are like, if we want something, we have it, just a little bit of it, and then we're like, "Okay, well, the next meal we're gonna make good choices and feel good." So,
yeah.
yeah.
One something you triggered it when you said cheat meals, something that helped me immensely was changing my language around that because I no longer use the word cheat meals, cheat days, cheat anythings because that's telling my body that what I'm doing is wrong. And so now they're treats and I
Right,
can treat myself. It's a
right.
treat isn't a big deal and it's not a forever thing either. You treat yourself and it's like a moment, it's an experience, it's a something. And as dumb as that sounds, that small little shift for me has made all the difference with my relationship with those types of foods.
Yeah, I it doesn't trigger anything to me to say cheat, so I don't but 10 years ago or 12, I don't know, 12 years ago probably, I read the book Eat Clean by I don't know how you pronounce her name, Toscarino or something like that, but that was in the book. A treat is a treat and not a cheat. And that was something that I loved because it was like if you went to a party or a wedding and you had cake, it's okay. You're celebrating, you're not doing something bad. So that has really helped me over the years. And like I said, I don't follow a diet, so it's not anything that I can cheat from. You know what I mean? So it's just we just try to eat healthy the majority of the time. And when we're out, if we want to have a regular meal at a restaurant and not have to worry about how many calories are in it or what, we just have a meal at a restaurant. But
And what does healthy mean to you?
um as far as food goes,
Just overall, what does being healthy mean?
to
Or
me, healthy means that you can live life without major limitations, basically. Like it's not just the opposite of sick. It's more like you can thrive. You're happy. I mean, those just go together to me, happy and healthy. You're just alive, I guess. And you're not all depressed. You're not um sluggish, all of that. It's just to be fully vibrant, I guess, is what it means.
yeah, I love that. And I love that you use limitations in that context. A lot of times I think people use limitations in the like restriction of I can't have, I can't do. And you're using it in the like, I don't want to be limited on what I'm capable of exploring and enjoying
Yeah, it's
because of
yeah.
choices I've made.
If I want to be able to go for a hike, I don't want to be like, oh, my body can only move this far. Or if I want to be able to um do an all-day workshop, I don't want my mind to be where my body needs something specific this often because otherwise I'm going to be irritable and I like get a headache and all of that. I just want to be nourished and all of that so I can just do the things I want to do. To me, that's what healthy is. So you can do the things you want to do.
I love that. And so I really, and this was one of the big things I wanted to talk about today. I love, you know, one of my favorite things about this podcast is that the conversation never goes anywhere where I thought it might before we start and hit record. And I think that is a beautiful thing because that means that we were supposed to talk about all of those things and that's what the world needed. But I am going to go back to one thing I do want to talk about today. And it kind of goes back to this like definition of healthy and how you maintain your version of a healthy lifestyle. So, as I mentioned earlier, guys, Renee is a brand photographer. She helps other people with their branding and brand photography businesses. They have a car wash. They're running the property management stuff. Like there's a lot of things on this woman's plate. How do you, I know so many people struggle with the concept of time and planning and prep and like the overwhelm of being quote unquote healthy. How do you make healthy work for you? Like, how do you do it all?
Um, well, other people aren't going to want to hear this, but uh, my husband is amazing. That's one way that I handle it all because he is actually the cook in the house and he makes the food decisions. So that takes a whole lot off my plate that other women don't have the privilege of enjoying. A lot of women, that's not their reality. And I'm so grateful that that's my reality, but we also make decisions together. And so when it comes to, let's say, food decisions, we don't bring stuff that we deem as unhealthy into our home. Sometimes if we have guests come stay and they say, oh, can you get this and that? And we will for that period of time. But pretty much we bring into our home what we want to put in our bodies. So when we're having, I just have the munchies, we don't have the option of just going for a bag of chips because we don't have a bag of chips. I'll say, hey, can you pop some popcorn? And he's like, sure. And so we do that on the stove, with coconut oil and just fresh popcorn that doesn't have all the crap in it that most popcorn has. And we are able to still have snacks, but not feel weighed down with the decisions we've made, because I'm the kind of person that if I open a bag of chips, I'm gonna eat the whole bag. Like, I don't know who came up with these serving size things. I don't agree with them at all. I'm like, no, it should be a bag. How many calories are in this bag? Not how many
Because
calories.
no one wants to see that and they need to make you want
Right,
to buy it.
right.
I,
Yeah. So by not bringing stuff into our home that we don't want, then it makes it where if we do go out, we can have a treat, pick up something quick. But we also try to, this morning, we knew we were going to have a long day. And so we just had a big breakfast, knowing that we may not eat again until 3 or 4. And that was going to be okay because we brought a couple snacks with us and we had our water and all of that. And so just forethought and not having what we don't want. And then when we are laying in bed trying to decide if we're going to go work out and we're like, what about you? What about you? Do you want to go? I don't know. And we just,
so
most of the time,
realistic when you have a workout buddy.
yeah, if we have that conversation, typically we wind up going because there's two of us to talk sense into each other.
It's like
But
I can't be the one that lets you off the hook.
yeah, well, and and there are times, there's mornings where it's like, we had a rough night and the alarm goes off and it just gets turned off and we both go back to sleep, and that's okay. But when we do get up and go work out, it also helps us to make better decisions because we
Yeah.
don't have the, I don't want to waste the workout. We don't have that mentality, but it just puts you in the right frame of mind to, you've already made a healthy decision, and it's just like a domino effect. It's easy to
So
make
true.
more healthy decisions. Whereas if you let food go too long or whatever, then you get hangry, and that's when you're like, I don't even care what's in it. I just need something right now. And so, yeah, we we just try to be balanced, I guess.
I love that. Some of the things that I love that you just shared was one, you're like, we don't bring things that we don't want to eat in the house. And you went, and it's not just that you don't want to eat, it's things that you know are going to, as you said, weigh you down. And I think that is such an underestimated tool in people's toolboxes, because you know how you feel after you eat certain things. And it's really hard to have the energy for your kids or for your job or for that 14-hour workday when you feel like with like a ton of bricks. And you had control over that with that simple decision. Like, you don't set yourself up for that kind of failure. And then you also shared that, like, that first decision of like getting up and going, it makes everything else easier. And it's like you said, it's not because I don't want to waste my workout, but your blood's flowing, there's oxygen in your body, you feel alive. And when you feel good and everything in your body has been activated and is awake and it's like going, there's very little times that you have those like weird cravings or that you're going for the junk food because your body's awake. A lot of times I think we crave junk food because we know it'll give us a quick pick me up. And that pick me up might be, it makes me feel good because it comforts me in that second. Or it gives us that like sugar spike where all of a sudden like we have the energy to go for like an hour and a half. And so like those are so just such good little nuggets for someone to latch onto and maybe pay attention to those types of things in their own life so that they can start being like, that doesn't work for me. Oh, that really works for me.
Mhm.
So I just love that you shared that.
Yeah, we like figuring out what snacks make us feel good and give us energy and don't weigh us down, that we can keep around the house of like, okay, it's not dinner's not ready, or we haven't even started dinner yet, but I want to prevent the whole hangry making bad decisions because our blood sugar's low and all of that. So
I want to
everybody
know
has.
what if I were to come to Renee's house right now, like what's a snack that you'd be able to offer me if I was hungry before dinner?
Well,
What should
that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, I don't know if anybody else would even want the snacks that we have, but we like fruit and fat together. So our snacks aren't always veggies. A lot of times they're fruits, but I like banana and peanut butter. So we'll do that. Or an apple and a little slice of white cheddar cheese. So those are,
I bet you that I've never had an apple with cheese. That does sound delicious.
yeah, it's like you get to have kind of like apple pie with cheesecake or something like that, or like um ice cream, it's,
Cheddar and an apple, that
yeah.
like contrast
Yes. So
sounds
it's
delightful.
sweet and then sharp and then sweet and then sharp. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And if you do want veggies, it can be like the celery and peanut butter. Like that's just really quick, easy stuff that you don't have to prepare. Also like bags of nuts. We do have nuts around, and we do, sometimes we'll have grapes and cheese. It's just we just like to buy plenty of fresh stuff so that when we want a little snack, we don't have to like put work into making the snack, but it's just as easy as grabbing a bag of chips because you just
I
peel the banana.
want you to say that louder for the people in the back.
I
What
don't
about
know what I said.
I will tell it for you so that it's easy to grab and go, because there are some foods that you might enjoy that are really good for you that take effort and forethought to have them ready. But things like grapes and strawberries and bananas and baby carrots, even though there's a whole discussion about the way they're processed, like sometimes you have to pick and choose your battles. Those are so easy to just grab a handful and throw them on your plate and have yourself a little snacky snack.
Yeah, one of the other things, we eat a lot of fat, I just realized. That
That
I
makes the
love.
brain work.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me, there's a meme that's an avocado looking in the mirror and it's like, but you're a good fat. Um, but yeah, avocados. So like I love avocados. I know people
Who
either love them or
doesn't?
hate them. I don't know very many
Really?
people
There's
that
people
are like,
who hate avocados? Oh, I
yeah.
love
Yeah,
avocados.
there's people I know, a lot of people I know actually that are just like, oh yeah, no, not avocados. They're
And
gross.
probably because I have never had like I feel like probably just a sliced avocado is probably something you have to like be ready to experience. But like if you make fresh mashed avocados and put some salt on it and some lemon, like I feel like anyone could love avocados.
No, no, we've tried. So there's just people who
Really?
don't. So I, sorry, I love you, but you're wrong about that. There's, but
Guys,
um, there,
how it's so good.
yeah. So I will cut an avocado in half and just take the I think it's Trader Joe's, but like the everything but the bagel seasoning and just sprinkle it on the avocado and just eat it with a spoon out of it. And it's like that, except for the fact that you need a knife, is a super, super easy snack, like super easy. So yeah, we try to always have stuff like that around the house. And then, like I said, an evening, like if we're sitting and we're chilling and we're like, okay, we're kind of, we just want a little something, it's usually popcorn because, there's, it's easy and it doesn't take long. And yeah, so
I love that. Oh my God, so many good nuggets today. Renee, if people just love you as much as I do, how do they connect with you?
probably the easiest way, the place that I am the most is on Instagram. So it's Kevin and Renee with two E's .co.
Okay.
And
And I'll put
so,
that in the show notes.
yeah. And so that's, I love DMs. I love interacting with people. I love encouraging people, and I share some of our CrossFit journey on there sometimes. And then I also share, the brand stuff and the portraits and business ideas and tips and just all of that. I
She's
just like
really
help.
entertaining. You don't need to be a business person and you don't need to love CrossFit to be entertained by Kevin and Renee's Instagram account. Like there really is like a variety show. You have a little bit of everything sprinkled with a whole lot of like humor. I love it.
Thanks.
It's great.
Yeah.
So, is there anything before we wrap up? Is there anything on your heart or any final words that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Um, I think the only thing that we didn't talk about that I always have kind of believed in is there's not good food and bad food. It is not a moral decision, and your personal character is not determined by these things that you eat. They're just healthy and unhealthy choices. And it's okay to make unhealthy choices sometimes and still be okay, as long as it's sometimes and not all the time.
I love that. And sometimes I'm going to add on to that because sometimes you may think it's unhealthy, but it's actually the healthiest choice for you because it's allowing you to experience life,
Mhm.
satisfy a little like love to yourself.
Mhm.
And sometimes it prevents a binge.
Mhm.
And if that's what you needed to prevent yourself from going off the deep end and eating yourself out of house and home, then that is a very healthy choice for you.
Yeah. And if you can make that choice and it's something you're doing to be in the moment and celebrate with someone and have a closer relationship with someone because you made this one choice, then that is worth it. And so, yeah, just the, yeah, I'm going to end with that.
You heard it here, folks. There's no such thing as good or bad foods. It's just supporting your goals or not. So, thank you, Renee, so much for coming in and sharing with us. And with that, everyone, Two Humans Talking, we are redefining your definition of healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye.